everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the Sola, I think that's how you pronounce it, the Sola Look, the Beverly Hills 90210 palette. Looks like this. You get 9 shadows. And then I also got the 3 lipsticks from the Beverly Hills collection. Now, if you're unfamiliar, Sola Look, I got one of these lipsticks. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the Brenda Loves Dylan one in a subscription box, and I didn't realize what the brand was. I thought it was like a Beverly Hills 90210 themed brand, but they're the ones that came out with the Grease palette a few years ago, and they had a Dirty Dancing palette. They have another Dirty Dancing palette available that's a little bit larger than the first one they did, and then they did a Beverly Hills palette a while ago also. They do discontinue their palettes. They do like limited runs and then they retire them and then they come out with new ones. So this is their current one. The one that they had previous was 6 shadows and like blush, bronzer, and some highlighters, something like that. But this one's more shadows. So we'll give it a try. I've never tried anything from the brand. So if that sounds interesting, stick around. Make sure you're subscribed. We're going to do swatches first. I will swatch the palette and the lipsticks, and then we'll do an eye look, and I may end up wearing one of these. I haven't decided yet. I did try the lipstick once, the one that I got in the subscription box, and I had a hard time getting it off, which is good, but I don't know if I want to wear it all day, so we'll see. But I will swatch it so you can see what the colors look like. But as of right now, this collection is still available on their website, and then their newest Dirty Dancing palette, which is a larger eyeshadow palette. It's over, I think it's like 10 or 12 shades, and you get a liquid lipstick or a lip gloss with it or something like that. But anyways, we're going to jump into the video. Again, make sure you're subscribed, and yeah, let's get into the swatch. So I'm going to do the lipsticks on my hand, and then I'll try and do the shadows down my arm right here. So let's start. Again, the one that I got in the Try Beauty box was the Brenda Loves Dylan. It's more of a red. It is very pretty. It's a comfortable formula. Like I said, it does have some staying power, so it's hard to get off. And then we have the Bad Boy, which I think is a metallic. I haven't swatched these other two since I bought. Maybe it's not. It looked a little metallic-y in the picture, but and as far as I know, these are all liquid lipsticks. And then the last one is Dylan Loves Kelly, which is a brighter pink, a little bit brighter of a pink. I might put the Bad Boy on. It's a little more of a wearable shade, but we'll see how those dry down at the very end of the video. So let's jump into swatches, and it looks like we have a matte row, maybe a satin-ish row, and then a true like metallic row. So let's see how these swatch. Yeah, I kind of wish I would have picked up the other palette just because there was some face products included, but you do get more eyeshadow in this one. So Brenda Hearts Dylan is the first shade. We'll go right here. I'm gonna see how these build up, never having used the brand before. Then we just have Dylan. They swatch okay. They do build, so you can see they get darker, which is good. And then I have my towel, so we'll do the towel test and see what pigmentation is left. Then there's Dylan Hearts Kelly. They feel a little bit dry, but if there's pigmentation and they go on the eyes, I don't necessarily care that the eyeshadows feel dry. Okay, then we have Broken Flower Pot. We're getting into the middle row. Eyebrow Scar. Oh no, I'm reading the wrong name. So this was Broken Flower Pot. This was the Bad Boy, and then this was That Summer. Okay, this is Junior Prom, The names of the lipsticks are across the top. I thought those were the names of the eyeshadow. So this is Junior Prom, and then we have Eyebrow Scar. That was a little confusing. And then Sleeping on the Beach. These ones possibly could be used in the crease. They are very shimmery. So if you're not a shimmery, I'm going to turn my arm a little bit so we can see the last three. Then we have Brandon's Sister. Is that one? Tony Marchetti is the gold. And then we have Ends with a Kiss. So there's the like super like toppery shades. So we got the mattes, we got the shimmers, and then what I guess would be considered a foiled like topper almost. So yeah, there's the palette. Yeah, I was reading these names up here. The names are actually underneath, so it was a little confusing, but yeah. So there's all of the swatches. I'm gonna leave these ones on my hand. Let's do the towel test and see. Okay, so this will show you what kind of underlying pigment we're dealing with. So there is some staining, which is a good sign because that means there will hopefully be some longevity as far as the eyeshadow is concerned on your eyes. But I'm going to clean this up and then we will jump into the eye. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I was experimenting on the other eye. So this is what I came up with. I think I used every single shade just to test it out. Normally I probably would not use every single color, but I figured, well, why not, just to kind of get an idea for the palette. So I'm just priming my lid. I'm just using the Gerard clean canvas, and then I do have a little bit of brow bone highlight. I just used my Ray Rider from Kaleidos. It's one of the highlights that's on my face today, so I figured I would just incorporate that because there's not really, there is an inner corner shade in the palette, but there's not really a good brow bone highlight per se. I mean, I could probably go over what I did with the gold, but anyways, so to start off, I went into That Summer, which is the pink, and because these are dry and my base is kind of wet and I didn't set it, I feel like it really like grabbed, which isn't bad. And I don't feel like the pigmentation is bad at all. It is a little bit dry, but there is pigmentation. I feel like because this stained my arm, even with the base down, there is going to be a little bit of staining. So if you are somebody that is sensitive to that, be aware. I wouldn't say these are difficult to blend out, but because I'm using a wet base, it did take a little bit to finesse it out, but was not bad. And I'm just using the Sigma E25. This is one of my favorite brushes. I have 2 of these. But you see it blends out really well. I only dipped in twice, so that's not bad. And then I had color switch. I'm using the same brush. I just color switch in between. So then we're going to go into Broken Flower Pot, which is the deepest shade. Now, this being a 9 pan, you're not going to get a ton of like different looks, but you can get a few depending on what color you want to put in the lid. And then I went in with a little bit of the Bad Boy just because I wanted to see. Normally, I probably would not have done this just because the shadow blended out, I thought, fine on its own. I didn't feel like I needed a blending shade per se, but I just wanted to kind of see what the pigmentation was. So I put a little bit to blend out, but you don't need to. You could definitely do like one shadow, like crease looks, like one shadow in the crease, and then put a shimmer on and you would be fine. And then I dipped into a little bit more of That Summer just because I felt like that one last color I just used changed the tone just a little bit, but figured let's mimic what we did on the other side. Okay. I feel like the purple's not like crazy pigmented, but there's pigmentation there. Like, so you could easily use that in your crease and do some simple like 2 shadow looks. I'm just putting the NYX glitter glue on my lid. I use this with every shimmer. Kind of helps give me a mock cut crease and also helps it stick better. I use it with every shadow. That's just my personal preference. So then I went into, what is this called? Sleeping on the Beach. I will say this middle row of shimmers, they're almost borderline satin, not quite. So you could probably get away with putting these in the crease. And I think that they would probably blend out fine. Because generally when you have a satin or anything with a little bit of shimmer, once you start blending it out, it dissipates. So I feel like you could probably use that middle row for crease colors also if you wanted to. And then I just took a little bit of Junior Prom just to kind of help blend that into Broken Flower Pot. Okay, and then because you can see it's not necessarily metallic and not a true like shimmery shimmer, I don't know. So then I went in with Endless Kiss, which is the pink one, just on my finger, because these are sparkly. So these I think are meant to be like topper shades, because when I swatched them, they're a little bit more on the sheer side. You definitely probably could use them all over the lid. Like it would probably, I think it would be pretty to do one of these shimmers in the crease and then just do the sparkly topper shade on the lid. But I am somebody that doesn't mind glitter, and I don't mind doing shimmer in the crease. That's never bothered me, and I feel like I did a little bit more on that eye. So let's make them even. And then I did a tiny bit of purple, because at that point I was like, why not? Just out here. And that purple's really, really pretty. Okay, so that definitely gives it a little more sparkle, and you could spray, like wet your brush, and you would probably get more impact. So I'm just taking the gold, and we're going to put that on the inner corner, and I'm just going to put a little bit under the brow bone, not a lot, just because I have a base down now. I think on its own it would read too yellow, but because I have that other color laid down. Okay. And then on the lower lash, we're going to take the Bad Boy, this middle pinky orange shade, just to lay down some color. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with a little bit fluffier of a lower lash brush, and we're going to go into the last shade that we have not used, which is Eyebrow Scar. So this middle one right here. I like doing shimmer on the lower lash. I like glitter and shimmer, so I don't necessarily mind that this is a shimmer heavy palette. It doesn't bother me. I could see it bothering a few people, but in the bigger 90210 palette that they did, you only got 6 shadows, so I don't think it was much different of a ratio, honestly. So there is that. I'm gonna go throw on, I'll do liner in the waterline. I'll put some lashes on, and then we'll look at the final look, and then we'll discuss. This middle one is not drying down, so I'm gonna say that that is more of a gloss. And then these two are like matte liquid lipsticks, or like a satin, because that middle one has not dried down. But we'll talk about the lip colors. I might put that middle one on just because it might be easier to take off. And yeah, I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so here is the finished look. I just have the Allure 3/4 lashes on. If you're somebody that struggles with putting false lashes on, I would recommend these. You can get them on Amazon. They're only like $4.99, because the lash only comes about this far over, because the inner corner is always where I've struggled with. So I have an LA Girl lip liner. It's the hot pink one in my waterline. And then I ended up putting the Bad Boy on. This one does not dry down. You can see it stays glossy. I'll have to go on the website, because I don't know if this is like a pigmented gloss or they're considering it a satin liquid lipstick. I tried to look at the descriptions when I was reading, when I ordered these, and I don't remember, but the other two definitely are matte. One's a little more red, one's a little more pink, but those do dry down completely, and they've got some staying power. Let's talk about the palette. I think it's fine. I think their formula is decent. It's pigmented. I like the look. It's very pink heavy, at least the look that I came up with. I think you could definitely get a more purple look if you just use this shade, like you stuck with these colors. I do like that they've kind of laid it out to where you could, you know, crease, lid, you know, corner topper shade. So they've got some colors that kind of go together. So if you're someone that doesn't wear a lot of color or is newer to makeup, I feel like this is an easy palette to use. The crease, the mattes in the crease blended out really easily. I didn't have any trouble with them. You could definitely do like 1 or 2 shadow looks with this palette, I think, very easily, putting one of these on the lid and then just blending it out with the matte. I don't think you're going to get a ton of versatility out of it. You can get some different looks out of it because there are, you know, there's more, definitely more of a true pink, a little bit more on the burnt, bronzy, pinky side, terracotta side, I guess, and then more of the purple. But with the 9-pan palettes, even the ones from ColourPop, I mean, there's only so many looks you can do with a 9-pan palette, but their formula is not bad. They also have the Charmed palette that came out a little while ago. That's still available. This palette's still available. And as of the end of December, I know the Dirty Dancing palette was still available for pre-order. It is a larger, it's supposed to look like a VHS tape. I want to say you get about 10. You get more than what's in here. So maybe it's 14 shades and a lipstick or lip gloss, but I'm still kind of on the fence if I want it. I don't think it's something I would use a ton, and it's a little bit thicker of a package, but I do like this one, so I'll have to keep an eye out. I do follow them on Instagram, so if they release, you know, something else that's a little bit smaller. I am looking at the Charmed palette. I don't know if I'll pick that up either, but so far, I think they're pretty good. This feels comfortable. The lipstick feels comfortable. I will probably wear the mattes more often just because we are still wearing masks. And if I do wear any sort of lip color, I need it to dry down so it doesn't get all over. But overall, I think it's a decent brand. It's worth checking out if you like these kind of themed palettes. Like I said, they've done Grease and Flashdance palettes in the past. It looks like they're expanding and making their palettes a little bit larger, because I know the first few palettes they released were only like 4 to 6 shade range, so really, really small. So they are getting bigger with their palettes, which is funny because I feel like people are now going back to smaller palettes. So excuse me, I think if they stick to like this size, and it looks like the Charmed palette's not a whole, I mean, it's shaped differently, but it doesn't look like it's a ton bigger. But the Dirty Dancing palette is a little bit chunkier. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Let me know what you thought of this brand. I've seen palettes come out from them before and just never bit the bullet. So I am happy that I picked this up. I am going to hold on to it. I don't know if it's a palette that I'll necessarily keep like long-term, but I am going to hold on to it for a while and see if I can get some more use out of it, because I do like pinks, and I am happy with the look that I came up with. I think using it again, I will probably like pull in a black or a deeper brown. That's probably my only critique, is that the purple that's in here isn't as deep as I would like it to be, but I have a million other palettes, so that's not difficult for me to do. Thank you guys so much for being here again. Make sure you are subscribed if you are not already. If you're already subscribed, thank you for coming back, and hopefully I will see you all in another video very, very soon. Bye, everybody.